Hi everybody, today's video is going to be all about copper, one of my favourite subjects. So we're going to be doing some unboxing and we're going to be doing some cleaning, and hopefully there'll be a few extra hints and tips on how to look after it and maintain it. So stay tuned. Today I'm going to be taking you through some of the cleaning methods and tips that I use when I bring something like this back to life. As you can see, I've made a start cleaning here. This is how it was before, so you can sort of still see the colour difference, but you retain the natural look of it. And also, I don't know whether you can see this here, this detailing around here is, they lay the copper piece out flat. You'll see two little compass marks there. So it's scribed out, cut by hand, and then they kind of just use a brass brazing to join it all together. It's a real art to do this, so that's another good sign of quality. I shall be polishing that later on, and you can see the end results. I've just finished cleaning this one. As you can see, it's come up really lovely. Another beautiful piece brought back into service. Not so long ago that was sitting in someone's barn, not being used. Now with a little bit of know-how and elbow grease, it'll be back on someone's stove soon. The many benefits of copper, firstly for me, is purely for the looks. I think it's beautiful. Handmade, artisan, there's a lot of passion goes into these. They're upcycled, recycled, which is better for the planet. There's a few health benefits as well. If you've got a good tin line on your pot. These are favoured by many top chefs for several reasons. The durability are very strong, they last quite a while, you know, if you take care of them. Copper is one of the best conductors, especially for cookware. If you've got to cook a dish where you need an even heat all the way around, then copper is for you. It's very versatile and tactile as well, so yeah, it's the stuff to have. This is an antique piece, a Windsor pan it's normally referred to. The gauge is very thick, that's always a good sign to look for. Planishing as well, that's where you see the tiny hammer blows from an artisan that's made it. When a surface is planished like this, it increases its surface area, which in turn increases its heat ability, transfer of heat ability around the surface. So you also get added strength from that as well, so that's a real good bonus to have on a pan. The sides are planished as well, which gives it a bit of strength. Always look for a maker's mark. Some of these old pieces don't always have a maker's mark, so then you have to sort of be guided by the quality of the piece really. Look for a good tin lining. A few little spots of copper is okay, it's permissible, but generally you need a good covering of copper. Always look at the handle, how it's attached to the base, to the body of the pot or the pan. With old pieces you'll see things like this is just hand hammered rivet that's just gone flat. They wasn't too bothered about how it looked then. So yeah, it's a good solid iron handle on that, so make sure there's no movement. Also, another thing to look for is a fairly flat base. You know, you don't want rocking about too much, so that's a few little hints and tips to look out for when you're buying copper. I'll just have a sip of my tea. Okay, and then you've got other items like this. You'll often see with initial on there. This one's got MP. That can sometimes tell you who the chef was of the kitchen, or the family name. you'll often see that on older pieces, as well as the retailer or the maker. In this case, it's De Hillerin of Paris, which they've been going for probably 100 odd years. I think it's 1860, something like that, I'm not quite sure. So that's also a good sign to look for. So yeah, that's another lovely piece. You've got items like this. This is, I believe, sounds Italian, Zeg Bologna, I think. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation of that, but that's for mixing. You could put chocolate in there and sort of do it as a bain-marie or egg whites or something like that. So also, I've got this lovely spice rack. So if anyone's interested in purchasing this, this can be purchased through Sam's shop. The description for this will be at the end of the video. So if copper isn't your thing and you like stuff like this, feel free to drop in. There's lovely stuff like this, enamelware and curios like that. I just took stock of 3 lovely copper pans. I'm just going to quickly take you through a process I use to clean them up and get them ready for listing in my shop. As you can see, lightly tarnished, nothing too heavy. If they're much more dirtier than this, I'll clean them up on a buffing wheel. But for this sort of instant, we'll just use some light cleaning products. Right, firstly, degreasing. So just normal washing up liquid. Degrease it off. And a quick rinse. The next product, one of the first products I use to get the tarnishing off. As you can see, it picks up on the camera, fairly tarnished there. And then I just give it a scrub, and then slowly you'll see it removes, starts removing some of the tarnish. So I'll go all the way around with that one before I use the next product, which is slightly less abrasive and leaves a protective coating on it really, so it doesn't tarnish. I'll just give this a quick once over with this. There's always a little bit of tarnish around here because people clean them when they're wet and they put them away and they don't dry them properly, and it creates a bit of corrosion around here. So what I normally do is dry it all with a towel, then lightly run it over a heat source, you know, not to heat it up too much, but just to take out the initial moisture, and that stops the corrosion building up. So I'll quickly get this once over. So you can see it's already sparkling, and then on to the next product, which is a protective polish really. And again, just with a soft sponge, nothing abrasive. Good once over. As you can see, the tin interior is pretty good in this, no stuck on food or anything, so I'll just get a quick wipe out and then we'll rinse it off. I'll give it another once over in a moment. And then for the iron handle, normally just a wire cleaning pad, very soft wire, just gently rub over the rivets, making sure you don't touch the copper pan. Just get off any light tarnishing. There's always a few stains on here, they're nearly 100 years old, but part of its journey and part of its character. There you go, just gently around there. The rivets will always come up like new. Right, rinse. Another quick once over with the polish. It's ready for drying. There you go. There you go, a light refurb. So what we'll do now is gently take it to a heat source over a gas, and then just heat this area very lightly just to dry out the excess moisture. Very lightly on a very low heat. Just gently move it around just so it heats it up slightly. And just helps drive out the moisture and stops it corroding around this area. Only needs a light heat. This is the one I've just cleaned, and this one is the one I haven't. Hopefully you can tell the difference. Now the reason why I haven't cleaned this one yet is because the interior tin lining is slightly worn. It's just about on the boundaries of being okay, but it's well worth the investment to have it re-tinned, because it will go on many more years after that. So yeah, I'm not going to clean this one. It's going to be sent off to the re-tinners, and they normally polish it afterwards once they do the tinning process. So that one will shortly be going away, and I'll show you that once it returns. Now these are probably up to about 100 years old thereabouts, maybe not as old as that. Now if they're looked after correctly, you know, not too much abrasive cleaner on the outside and treated good, they'll probably go on to last another 100 years. So, you know, a sound investment really. Some people will hand them down like an heirloom to the next generation of budding chefs or just home cooks really. So plenty of quality there, so they will last the test of time. Cooking with a bit of character as well, I think. Now can you see the areas where the copper is just what we call bleeding through the tin lining? That's just through wear and tear. It's, you know, nothing too bad, but when it gets to around about this point, you need to start thinking about having it re-tinned, and that will stop tainting the flavour of the food if you've got too much copper bleeding through. So yeah, that will be going away shortly. Come back as good as new. Right, I've just took stock of some new items for my shop. This is the bit I love. Opening these boxes like Christmas. Right, bear with me and let's see what we've got in here. I ordered these a while ago, so I'm not actually sure what I've got in here. Okay, looks promising. Be nice if the other half is in there. Okay. Sometimes when you buy online, you take a bit of a gamble. This one, the interior tin is not really up to scratch, so that won't be getting put into my shop at the moment. I may have this re-tinned, but yeah, I'll always grade all the items first and then decide what goes in the shop and what doesn't. So this one for now is not going in the shop, possibly to the re-tinners, so we'll leave that there for now. Right. Okay. This looks like a mixing bowl. Yep. Cool de pool, I think they call that in French, if I've got my pronunciation right. Yeah, that's a lovely piece. And it's got the maker's mark on there. It's always nice. There's a little bit of damage there, but I can hammer that out myself, and possibly get a new bronze ring to go through there. That's what it would have originally had, a bronze ring, so that's okay, but I knew about the condition of this, that's fine. And then just inside I'll give that a good polish up, and it'll come back as good as the outside. So that's going to go to the workshop, that one. Now these ones are a bit larger. Again, it's always exciting because I order a lot of stuff and I don't always remember what I've got coming. Sometimes they're huge boxes and there's tiny little things in them. And like this one. I expect a rabbit to jump out in a minute. Okay, we have a colander in the form of a sort of hand ladle, which is always handy for when you're cooking and draining stuff off. So yeah, that's nice, all hand forged with the shepherd's crook terminal on the end. It's okay, nice and sturdy. Like I say, all this has got to be polished up. It just gets tarnished where it gets wet and left. So yeah, that's another one for the workshop. I'm going to be a busy boy the weekend. And the last one. Piece. Now this is a lovely old tourtière, I think they call this. It's a lidded one. Now what these are originally used for is when you have an open fire, this will sit in the embers after the flames have died down, but they still get the residual heat, and then you just sit it in the embers. That's why it's got iron feet on the base, and then it's got a lovely tin lining, which is good. So yeah, you can cook many a meat or vegetable dish in there and just let it simmer away. So I'll be using this outside in the near distant future, and I'll maybe do a recipe or something, and you can watch me eat it. So there we go. For now, that's it. Stay tuned because there'll be more coming. I always get lots of boxes to unparcel, so yeah, this is the downside of my job, you know. Not really, I love it. Bye for now.